genre.
Welcome back to the Doctor's Companion. I'm Nick Jimenez.
I'm Scott Corelli.
And I'm Cass Fredrickson.
Today on the show, we'll be discussing The Giggle, the third and final 14th Doctor special, 60th anniversary special, whatever you want to call it. It's me, guys. I'm back. I got my memories back.
Oh.
Hooray! Just in time for Christmas.
Yeah, it's a Christmas miracle. I remember every episode we've ever done, just like before.
So I just want to start this episode by being like, how crazy it is, how many things we called without calling. Like we called so many things.
Yep.
But like not in the way that we imagined we had.
Right.
You know, like they were all done in like a crazy way that we were like, that I was like, wow. Oh, wow.
It was kind of perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we don't mind going into spoilers, but
of course,
I stood up in my apartment when 14 got lasered in the chest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I paused it to see how much longer in the episode we had, and I was like 20 minutes. Oh my god, we totally talked.
But it wasn't a prediction. It was a thing we were saying in jest.
Yeah.
Well,
like, wouldn't it be crazy if he got shot by the toy maker and then respawn in the middle of the episode?
Well,
and
yeah,
then, like,
I know,
15...
but you said that as you posed it as a question first. Had this ever happened before?
That's true. Okay, that's true.
And we were like, no. And then you were like, what if this happened?
Okay.
And I was like, that would be a one of a kind thing. You know, like that certainly would be a one of a kind thing. And it was, but then it was completely undercut by the fact that they're like, no, we're doing another one of a kind thing that you've never seen before.
Which is kind of the best of both worlds, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was cool. It was a cool changeover.
I mean, not for nothing, listeners and gentlemen, but for some reason, it's my fault for being online. But I have been spoiled by a lot of really cool Doctor Who stuff over the last few years. And just because I watched it during the day, I didn't wait for the nighttime. I deleted Instagram off my phone. And so I truly was watching this, like, is this real? Am I actually seeing this? Which is really cool.
That's the best. Yeah, that's the most sort of like the last 20 minutes of this was like the most excited I've been watching Doctor Who, I think, since the little astronaut girl regenerated in that alley in Impossible Astronaut Day of the Moon.
Wow.
Like that was the last time that I felt like that, like, whoa, because there's been great episodes, but I can't think of another time. Maybe when John Simmaster showed up in the what season was that? Was that 10? Season 10 finale?
Was that
Whatever
the Bill
it
season?
is.
Yeah, Bill, that's 10, right?
Okay. Who knows?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So maybe that, but that still didn't hype me up as much as this. So yeah. This was a real good regeneration story. Real good. And was, I don't know. I'm just like thinking about like what it all is trying to accomplish and what it does accomplish and what it says about Doctor Who. Like there's just so much to talk about.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
But Cass, I'm curious. I want to start. What were your thoughts on the event of the bi-generation? Like when it happened?
I like it. I actually have a theory that because I was talking to my brother about it yesterday.
I want to pause
'cause
you because I want to just say I also have a theory, and I'm curious if our theories are going to be the same. So go continue.
So should I like posit my theory now?
No, yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Pause it, and then I'll posit mine after if it's different. Okay. Or I'll be like, no, yeah, that totally.
So I like it. I like what it does metatextually. I like what it does narratively. It works for me 100%. I was like, no, yeah, that works. I'm not questioning this at all. So I know we don't remember anything that happened in The Power of the Doctor. So I was talking to my brother about this, and he had just watched The Power of the Doctor, like completely in a vacuum. Like he had never seen any other 13. I'm like, just watch this one, and you like can jump into the specials.
Yeah.
So he was like, "What a week the Doctor's had!" Like, because part of the plot of that episode was the Master forcing the Doctor to regenerate into the Master.
Right.
And then is like forced out of it. And then she gets shot, I think. And then she regenerates and then into 14. And then all of this happens. So I was thinking, and I was reminded of that. And I was like, oh, so like, if you're tracking it like narratively, like what if this by generation is a result of the shenanigans with the Master, like the forced regeneration.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the Doctor has been forced to regenerate before, from like 2 into 3, but that doesn't happen on screen. Like we don't see that. So like, I'm like, I know like, I haven't looked extensively online for like fan reaction to this because I don't usually do that. But like,
it's super mixed.
I've seen a lot of people like I don't really get it. So like maybe that works narratively for me. Like you know, it's been a wacky week for the Doctor.
Yeah, Doctor's wacky week.
Right.
I hadn't thought of that, so that's a great theory. I love that. But I also wonder in terms of like the how of it, which was not what my theory was based on. So I guess I could save my theories for later. But the how of it, the way that I just sort of like rubbed it away was that he regenerated so like shortly ago, like such a little time ago, that I feel like in the same way that like when he was able to, and I also just think like maybe 10/14 just has like more control over his regeneration than he thinks he does or something, because he was able to push his regeneration into a severed hand. He was able to get his hand cut off and then it heal. Right.
Yeah.
All of the weird regeneration stuff has all happened to him. So the fact that he is also the one that comes back as a face, and also, which I agree with you, I think has more to do with her being a time lady, which is why they never like really explain it in this episode. They're just like, emotions, you weren't closure. I don't know.
But that worked that worked well for me too.
It was beautiful. It has, but it has no scientific explanation whatsoever, which I think is what some people want, is like a logical thing. And so like, I like the time lady thing. I think the combination of like the emotional distress of all of it, and then like having this unfinished business as 10, like in the maybe a split second as she's regenerating, she imagines being 10 again, and then there you go. Then you got 14. But like being so fresh, I feel like, and getting just like totally obliterated.
Yeah.
I feel like allowed him to both heal himself and form his next iteration. That being said, my belief is that 14 is 14 forever. Like, he doesn't regenerate. I don't think he regenerates. I think that he is just this guy. And while we're talking about it, since I brought it up, I think he becomes the curator.
Yeah, I saw people. And actually, it's funny. Then I watched it again today with Norman because he wasn't here when I was watching it yesterday, and we ended the episode, and he was just like, "Yeah, he probably becomes the curator because like then he just revisits all his old faces or whatever."
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Oh, that makes sense."
Yeah. No, I think he just becomes the curator. I think that's entirely possible. I also think my other thing is that now there are two bodies walking around, and there's a certain character, a certain villain who loves to possess other people's bodies, and we know that he is now out there in a tooth. So there's also the possibility that the Master is going to take over one of them. And then
Ooh.
they will become the Master. Like, imagine if like David Tennant becomes the Master for like a season against like Shurigawa.
That would definitely be, in addition to like, the fan how cool that would be. It would give. I like the idea of giving David Tennant a new challenge every time he comes back.
100%, right.
Right.
And because he's possessed, it wouldn't have to be permanent, right? Like, he could be possessed by the Master for a while, and then they get the tooth out of his mouth or whatever the fuck kind of shenanigans they need to do, and then he walks away scot free, which works for him because he is Scottish. Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
The best the only argument I can really offer, or I guess is a metatextual one, which I'm so delighted by, which is that David Tennant is so good at being the Doctor, we cannot stop coming up with reasons in the show to keep him around.
Right.
Yeah.
We're cloning him. We're making new ones. We're splitting them. We're just doing whatever we can because we cannot stop putting this guy back into the blue box.
And I think too, the thing that Russell T Davies talked about, we posted it on the Discord, but like the thing about like the Doctorverse, how his belief is that all of the Doctors split in that moment, and now like they're all existing simultaneously. Not that they weren't already, because they are, right? Because they're time travelers, but like the idea that like that's how we're going to explain bringing any of them back whenever we want. Is that it's one of the split off Doctors, so they have aged and they look like them, and like you don't have to like explain why they got old. We have like a built-in explanation now, including David Tennant for as many times as he wants to come back ad infinity. Every time he comes back and he's a little bit older, you can just be like, well, he ages now, so it's fine.
It's interesting, learning that quote, because he said that in a podcast, right?
Commentary. He does
commentary?
Commentary that they post on I guess like the BBC like app or whatever.
Okay.
They have like extra material. That's like where the Tales of the TARDIS thing is, and then the commentaries are on there too, but they're not on Disney Plus isn't posting any of that stuff. That's just like BBC exclusive stuff.
For sure.
But I've seen like screenshots of it.
I've seen screenshots as well, and I assumed it was a podcast because it looked like four guys recording a podcast with our team. But yeah, so hearing the quote about, oh well, every Doctor, which has felt very, I got like Rise of Skywalker flashbacks of like, well, all those people on the Star Destroyers, they're part of a death cult that grew up worshiping Palpatine like a god.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But so all that to say, I have mixed emotions because I'm currently living through the contentification of Star Wars, which while I have enjoyed, it is a little, I get my mind sometimes goes nihilistic of like, wow, they're just going to have a android Luke Skywalker forever, huh? Like stories used to end and now they don't anymore. And now every Doctor, these Doctors used to have endings and deaths, and then they would go on, but now that's off the table. And that got me a little Wild Blue Yonder staring at the void of the universe. But also it was 3 episodes of really fun TV. So like, I'm not super cynical about it, but it is a little scary.
Yeah. And I know that that's what he's wanting to do, but I also just think like, I don't know. I don't think that they're going to force anything out. I think it's going to be more a situation of like, somebody comes in and is like, hey, I've got like a really cool limited series idea for like the 8th Doctor. Can I do that? Paul McGann's in. And it's like, oh yeah, sure. Boom. You got a built-in explanation, you know? Like, I don't know that they all need to necessarily be ongoing. Though I do think the first of those, I don't know if it'll either be that the Doctor and Donna have a spinoff, or if it's like occasionally that they'll just drop a special starring the two of them on an event, like a random adventure, which would also be kind of cool.
Cass, how do you feel about the idea of, let's just say like in 2025, we get a mini series or a limited series that is like 14 and the Noble family getting into scrapes and adventures. Are you, is that like something you're interested in?
I guess it would, I think it would depend on like, I think it depends on who's writing it for me. But I think these specials did such a good job of like reestablishing and reintroducing these characters into like the status quo of Doctor Who that I wouldn't mind seeing them again, especially Rose. And I like that they like when they're having like brunch or whatever, like they kind of already established that like, yeah, she's been in the TARDIS, or at least this TARDIS with this Doctor. So like if we wanted to pop in on one of their like adventures or whatever, like we can totally do that. So I'm not mad at it. I think it would just depend on who was writing the story for me.
It's like, I almost feel like there's two different ways to look at where the Giggle ends, which is I've read it referred to as a series finale for New Who. Where
like OG New Who. Yeah.
Oh.
Like all the struggles that, you know, because there's a beautiful scene that 15 has with 14 where he's like, look at all of the stuff we've done. And, you know, this is what it's been for. It's for you. You get to rest and you get to have Sunday brunch with the Nobles and just relax. And all of the tumult that you felt in the Whittaker era and the Capaldi era, like this is your. So when I think about it, like a storybook ending and a closing of a book, it's like, oh, I like that. He kind of grew up. He got to finish out his days living happily ever after. But when I think about it in like the Mandalorian infinite content sense of like, now we can do a mini series where he goes into adventure.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah. I don't know if I like that.
I
don't know yet. I don't know how I
feel. I mean, the other thing though is like, being worried about the contentification of media is valid. However, I just want to remind everybody, we're talking about the BBC, not,
exactly.
I know that Disney is like, financially backing it to a certain point, but they're not producing it, and like BBC is like, notoriously not the they don't produce the most amount of content, so
more conservative.
Yeah, they're much more conservative when it comes to that. So but I think it does make sense that if they're cutting Ncuti Gatwa, like if they're cutting the main series, the flagship series episode count to 9 episodes a year, there's a lot of space for just like I think that's what I would want more than anything, is just a bunch of one-off specials, no limited series, just like, Stephen Moffat has an idea to do something with, the 6th Doctor, and he's just going to do a 6th Doctor special. Yeah. And you're like, so you
want to write for Rose. I like that character.
Yeah. Or something, exactly. Something like that. Right. Where it's just like, yeah, he's just going to do a one-off special, and then boom, there you go. You get one. And it's like a 90-minute thing, in and out. Just a fun little thing that we just like pop in August, and there you go. Because they've got that established now, because they've got the specials on Disney Plus where they're like, see, special 1, special 2, special 3. You can just do that. So I don't know. I think that could be cool. Because it would be cool. Because like, what if the Master Tooth thing isn't a setup for Ncuti Gatwa at all, and it's a setup for like a future David Tennant special?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
like,
I find it, because that's the other thing too that I find really interesting and fascinating about this whole thing, about like 10 being, or 10, 14 being retired in London, is that like the Doctor goes to London an awful lot. So, like, you know, like, it's just like, so there's just another one of your guys just like there. Like, you know, it's like, it's the Marvel problem of like, why aren't you asking the Avengers for help with this like huge thing? You know, if you're right there, like, why aren't you asking him for help? He's right there. Just go knock on his door. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I like, you know, because the thought I had when they were referring to 14 and Rose going on adventures and the rumors of this being like a thing going on, I was like, oh, that's interesting. We were talking about how cool it would be to see Rose as a companion for 15 down the line, but is that now being blocked? Does she now belong in the 14-averse? But again, that's me thinking in the Disney Plus Marvel paradigm. Which
sure
doesn't have to be. I like the idea of it just like, hey, if someone has a good idea for a Rose 15 story, there's nothing stopping Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor from just like popping in and being like, Rose, I need your help.
That's true. I think the only thing that would stop that could be like how hard of a line he wants to have on the new series as a jumping on point, you know? In terms of like cleanly, like we're not going to reference the past as much, but then Mel is going to be a main character on the new show. So I don't know.
Oh yeah. Cass, what'd you think of Mel?
I forgot Bonnie Langford was in this, so I audibly gasped when she was on screen.
It was supposed to be a surprise. Like everyone knew she was coming back in like the series, but it was like not 100% that she was in this. It hadn't been announced that she was going to be in this.
I was really excited about it.
Yeah.
They're just the two little instances of 14 and Mel getting to just like be old friends reuniting for a second was so heartwarming.
Mm-hmm. I just love like every time he took a beat, he was just like, "It's you!" Like he was just so happy to see her.
Right?
It was so good. Did not go into the Giggle expecting to know what happened to Solomon Glitz. That was nuts. That was insane. I could not believe that. Of all of the references in the Giggle, that was the one that was just like, what the fuck? Are you serious right now? That is insane. Yeah. I love that though. That was amazing. Okay. Do we want to get into the plot, the episode proper, I guess?
Sure.
Okay. So let's talk about the toy maker, and all of that. Nick, as someone who, I want to mention, you did not just call the mid-episode regeneration. You also called the musical number.
I asked for something cursed.
Yep, and you got something cursed too, with like the prime minister being like, "Rah, you're all wrong, you idiots."
Yeah, I think that was it's crazy. I mean, it's like Santa. It's like a Santa Claus movie, you know, where you reach into the bag and it's like, whoa, this is what I, you know. It's like, wouldn't it be cool if something really campy and goofy happened?
God.
Like.
You were you were like connecting telepathically with Russell T Davies last week. Like, that was nuts.
It was great. Yeah, Cass. Sorry.
What did you think as someone who has no connection to the Celestial Toy Maker, or just the Toy Maker who is a Celestial, as it, you know, what did you think of this character?
I was very angry when they made references to stuff I didn't know about. I took it personally. No, yeah, I mean,
it's called gatekeeping, Russell. Look it up.
What about dum-dums who just like click it on random on Disney Plus? They deserve to have exact now. So I mean, it's like a good. It's like I watched a lot of behind the scenes content for this one about how they how RTD reverse engineered this into a toy maker story.
Yeah, I saw that,
and we'll talk about that in the plot through. But like, just as someone who hadn't seen this character before, just a perfect marriage between performer and character. Like Neil Patrick Harris has always kind of had that like magician, toy maker, entertainer kind of quality to him.
I mean, he's a literal magician.
literal magician.
Yeah.
And a little like a song and dance man, like a Swiss
Right.
Army knife performer. And
Right.
so just seeing him getting to do all of the stuff we've seen him do in like a marathon session was really cool. And I think our concerns about him, he felt different enough from the Master, even at his most manic, because I think, Scott, something you mentioned last week of like, he adheres to a code, almost like a great Batman villain, that he like, okay, the Master would probably do this at this point, but the toy maker wouldn't, because that's not what the toy maker is interested in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. He's apathetic to humanity and apathetic to like evil and good. He's just apathetic to all of it. He only cares about winning or losing. Whereas like the Master is like, everything's personal with the Master. Every single thing the Doctor does, it's just like you cut to him and it's like, and I took that personally. Every single thing. So yeah, it's very different. But yeah, he I think he worked out really well. What did you think, Cass?
I really enjoyed his performance. His very silly German accent was very silly.
Mhm.
I liked, I don't know, like the balance of like we're gonna dance to the Spice Girls now, and also like the menace. I think was done really well.
Mhm.
I will say he sounds like a completely different person when he does a British accent. Like, it scared me. I was like, who's talking right now? Oh my God, is that him?
That may have been the highlight of the episode for me.
Yeah.
Just that when you catch what he's doing and you're like, oh shit.
What moment are you guys talking about?
When they're at the card table and you hear him go from his German accent to what I assume is him sounding more like the OG toy maker.
Mm-hmm.
His very sort of droll, and then I absorbed a god and blah blah blah. And like, oh my god, is this how he really sounds? Is this his real accent?
Yeah.
I will say everything about him worked for me except the German accent. It just didn't. It was I felt like it felt too much like a hat on a hat. However, that being said, that's kind of Russell T Davies' Doctor Who. Everything's a hat on a hat. So I also found it kind of comforting where that feeling of just like, oh, Russell, that's a little too much. And then being like, oh, Russell, you're back.
Doctor Who.
Yeah. So yeah, I had mixed feelings about it, but I think his performance was really good. I wish he had that more droll British accent like he did originally, versus the German accent. Because I don't know what the choice was. I don't get it. Like, I don't know.
And then, we're definitely going to talk about this during our plot through. But when he yells at the Doctor during his puppet show, he has like a more American Neil Patrick Harris accent.
Mhm.
And it's him snapping. So it's like, oh wait, is that his real? Like, what? Who is this guy really being?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. This is your second celestial, I think. I mean, second celestial encounter, Nick. Because there was an episode of the Jodie Whittaker era that had like a couple of celestials in it.
Oh, those two, the brother and sister that were made of teeth?
Right. No, not them. No, it was in the second season, and it was don't remember what the episode was about.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Doctor Who, celestial.
There's like a ship that
Jodie
they're
Whittaker.
stuck on or something.
Yeah. What is this episode called?
That's gonna bother me now.
It Takes You Away.
Was it? Can you
hear me?
Is this it?
It Takes You Away was the one in the cabin with the frog in the other universe. I remember that one.
Hell yeah.
Yes. It's Can You Hear Me? Yeah.
So that was with the homies. It was
a season 2 episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, they try to trap the Doctor and travel to Earth to feed off nightmares.
Okay. I think I can picture this.
I'm trying to find where the guys are. I think it's Zelen and Rakea is their names.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Sounds
I mean,
about
that's the trouble. Yeah, it's this one. It's Can You Hear Me? I guess they're oh my god. It's like Marvel all over again. They're Eternals,
Really?
which are below Celestials.
Okay.
Are the ones in Enlightenment Eternals or Celestials? Scott?
Good question. Let's find out. Enlightenment, which
Because if you say Celestials, like that's the one that I think of. But
Celestials or let's see, Celestials, Enlightenment. Oh,
I don't remember.
that gave me a whole other thing. I had to put Doctor Who in it. Let's see, Enlightenment. They are. Let's see. So the Black Guardian is, what is his deal?
Oh, the are the Guardians Celestials?
Why? I think they might be.
Okay.
I don't remember. God, there's just so much Doctor Who swirling around in my head.
I know.
Let me see if there's is there Celestial? Maybe Eternal. Oh. Let's see. Find themselves in the midst of a contest for enlightenment with the White and the Black Guardian. Let's see. The sought after by the amoral Eternals.
Okay. So that's them.
I think I don't. They might even be below the Eternals then.
Weird.
That might be like what the. That might be what the like hierarchy is. Like it goes like Guardians to Eternals to Celestials. That's wild. So here's my question. Is there a...
I'm sorry, Nick, we didn't answer your question.
Yeah, because I don't know what... I'm not entirely sure. Let me just try looking. Doctor Who.
Bottom of my heart, I don't remember what my question was.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see.
I think we were just trying to sort out what these things, the Whittaker ones were.
It appears... No. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. It's tough because it's a mix. The toy maker's only been in one episode. Now two.
Right.
And the other stuff that he's been in has been like Big Finish stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In Big Finish, they basically say that like Celestials are Guardians because he has also been known as the Crystal Guardian and the Guardian of Dreams. And so they like merged them together, but I don't.
It's not canon.
I don't. No, that's not canon. The only thing that's canon is that he is a Celestial.
Okay.
Which is why he has like such crazy like godlike powers.
Yeah.
And then the Eternals are more like, I think like, like
really
if like if a Celestial is like the devil, then like I think that Eternals are like little demons.
Demons.
Yeah.
Demons or angels. Right. Exactly. I think that's the suggestion, I think. So
cast anyway. The history thing that they talked about in the behind the scenes content is RTD was just like learning about John Logie Baird and like the story of like the first televised image and Stooky Bill, the head of the dummy, and how they needed a dummy to withstand the heat and all of that. And he was like, "Oh, that's a Doctor Who villain."
He's not wrong. It was very creepy.
Yeah. And then he was like, "Oh, well, who would be like, messing around with dummies and like, oh, the toy maker. Oh, the 60th. Mm-hmm. Cool. It all fits. I did it.
Yeah.
We did it again."
Okay. The Guardians are Celestials. That is okay. So it is Guardians are Celestials, Eternals are below that. That's the order. So there you go. But it was Eternals that were in that Jodie Whittaker episode, not Celestials. Yeah, right. Exactly. Okay. There you go.
We solved it.
Glad we got that all ironed out. I'm
You-
sure it'll stay consistent the next time one of them pops up.
If
we definitely
we
won't have
hadn't
any more
figured that out,
questions.
you would have woken up at 2 a.m. being like, I gotta look this up. I have to know.
I know. It's driving me crazy. Anyway.
That
Okay.
Stoogie Bill cold open though was like the vibes of New Who.
Mhm.
Just spooky, historical. You're like, oh, I just know the Doctor's gonna have to deal with that dummy head sooner or later.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah. That was definitely so okay, so we've been talking a lot about Russell T Davies episodes or era episodes that this reminds us of, these specials have reminded us of.
Yes.
And this one, big, like where it almost feels like a redo of a bunch of stuff, right?
Mhm.
Where it's like definitely big, like, Saxon Master stuff. A lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of Idiot's Lantern. Like, it feels like he was like, Idiot's Lantern didn't really nail that one. I'm gonna do the same kind of concept again, and I'll do it a little harder this time. And I think he nailed it. I think he got it this time. Because I think this is much better, obviously, than Idiot's Lantern, which is an episode I despise. So yeah, I like that. I also got there's also the weird regeneration stuff, which is like Journey's End and all of that with like, he's like, oh, what if there were two doctors post regeneration and one of them went off and lived with the companion forever? And he just did that again. He just did it again,
right?
But in a totally different way this time. I don't know. It's just it's so funny. And I don't mean that as a negative. It's just like, I like that he's like being like, I think I could go. I think I'm a better writer now than I was then. I think I can circle back on the same idea, but like, execute it even better than I did before. And I think he's been right in every single instance, I think. I don't know. Any other ones? Any other old episodes that this one reminded you of, or that you felt like it referenced at all?
I don't know.
This is
Because
kind
the
of
Celestial Toymaker dancing to "Spice of Your Life" was just like the Master dancing to
the Scissor Sisters.
yeah, the
song?
Scissor Sisters song.
Yeah.
It was very similar. But
or
what were you saying, Nick?
people brought it. People also brought up, the Rasputin number, much more recent.
Yes.
oh, true. Yeah.
This is kind of a stretch, but when they were in the hallways of doors and every door was a new thing and it was chaos and scary, it reminded me a lot of that Toby Whithouse episode, God Complex. Yes.
Yeah. I was definitely getting that too, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like this episode was just so, the hype was that this was a ride and that it was full and that it was stuffed to the gills. And it really was, because like that whole spooky middle episode in retrospect is like almost like its own thing,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I also got really nostalgic over the like War Room unit stuff, and seeing all that get a Disney Plus budget upgrade was really cool.
Yeah. I really appreciate that they're like wanting to differentiate unit from like typical military, but I do miss the little things like berets and like I don't know, like they all just look like security guys now,
right.
Like generic like shield operatives or something. And like, I get it, but also I don't know.
Cass, what did you think of the long-awaited meeting between 14 and Kate Stewart?
I thought she was gonna slap him.
Me too.
Like the way she walks over to him, I'm like, oh no, what's gonna happen? And then she just hugs him. I'm like, oh, that's nice. I like that. That's nice.
It's because I got the feeling, she's probably been debriefed, like, about the events of Starby, so she knows what to expect when she sees him. But the weight of seeing that face again, such a.
Is she introduced in, because she never meets 10,
no.
does she?
No.
She's a Moffat era person, isn't
I feel
she?
like her first appearance is it's in the Matt Smith era. It's
I think I just looked this up.
I
I
feel
think it's in Power of Three.
Yes, that is 100% correct. Yes,
Nice.
it's the
Good
Power of
old
Three.
Chibnall.
Yeah,
But and it's implied that like she hasn't even there were no like childhood visits as like the doctor was like I've never met this guy before. I just know that they were
Right.
best friends with my dad and they
right.
would go camping once a year.
Yeah, but I think that she's much like her dad. I think that she knows the doctor well enough to know that he's the doctor regardless of whether
Sure.
whatever their face is at the moment.
Right.
Like she knows, oh, that's the doctor, and so I'm so relieved to see the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, at least that's what I took from that exchange.
Yeah, because she just saw 13
Mhm.
like not
Like a week
long ago. yeah.
When's the last time we saw Osgood?
Capaldi. I want to say the Zygon 2-parter.
Yeah.
She never showed up during the Whittaker era.
No.
Interesting.
No.
So she's
too
dead.
much of a Moffat character. I don't think I don't think he would have known how to write her
Because
properly.
With respect, I feel like the science officer from the Star Beast has kind of taken the place of like the Osgood.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally different vibe, totally different character, but like that.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wait, is Osgood dead? Did she die in the Zygon?
One of them
two-parter?
died.
Yeah, I feel
think-
like a Zygon took her over, and then she died, and then the Zygon that replaced her ended up being good because she like kind of merged with Osgood or something like that, and then like went
Something
off
like that.
to be like to live their life or something like that. I vaguely remember that. I haven't seen that Zygon 2-parter since we watched it on the show.
Let's talk about it on the Discord.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll remind us.
Cass, do you remember?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Also super like nostalgic warm fuzzies of like classic RTD is the semi-socially conscious rip from the headlines like a plot where we learned that pretty good plan, the Giggle from Sleepy Joe or whatever the dummy head was called has been burrowing its way into our brains, and at a time when we are at our most divisive because of social media and stuff, we're like, everyone literally thinks that they're right and won't stop yelling at each other.
I'm just laughing at the choice of specifically Sleepy Joe as like as the architect of this grand conspiracy, and I'm like, somebody is nodding their head a little too hard right now.
Stooky Bill. His name was Stooky Bill.
Stooky Bill.
Did you guys notice that the news anchor lady is back?
Yes!
Yeah.
That was so cool.
I love her.
I can't even think of her name right now off the top of my head, but just like that face again. But no, I mean, like, I wanted something as dumb as Barack Obama giving a speech that was going to fix the economy. And I think this is up there.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely.
Like, I kind of wanted something a little preachy, and I think it was just the right amount of like, we got to stop yelling at each other. It's like, okay, man.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other episode that really stuck out to me too, was specifically those last 20 minutes. That was like absolutely like Christmas Invasion, like Tenet in his PJs coming out of the TARDIS and quoting the Lion King, like, and sword fighting and all. Like, the catch was a lot like the sword fighting. It's a fighting hand. And then you've got like Shurigawa doing one-handed cartwheels, you know? So like, yeah, it's just, I was getting big time because you're like on the edge of like a drop, just like in Christmas Invasion. Yeah. There's like a lot of like, it was motifs all around in this one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Mel comes in and we learn what the Giggle is. And then at that point, what happens after?
They go back in time and then they meet the toy maker, which was the scariest sequence of Doctor Who that I can remember because I hate dolls. And if anyone starts rhyming ominously, I'm like, nope. So that was a nightmare. And so they figure that out and then they go back to
They get chased
present
out.
day. Right.
No,
Get the
because they
puppet
play
show.
because they have to they play the game first. That's there.
Yeah.
They play the deck cutting game.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the second game, and then it's like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, we're gonna do best 2 out of 3.
Yeah,
which is
that was
funny.
cool. Yeah, when he was like, I invoke rule 2, the invoke of 2 out of 3.
Yeah,
And Toymaker
right.
was like, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. I also the puppet show with Amy and Clara and Bill.
Yeah, which was great. I mean, like, really great villain calling out a hero on their bullshit when, for every companion death, the Doctor had a quick technicality, and it was almost like him speaking for the writers of every episode. Like, technically, Clara's alive inside of a single second, and they're, oh, okay, fuck me then, cool.
Yeah.
You're a great friend. And yeah, great stuff. Cat Cass, did you like that as well?
Yeah, I did. I like that. I was a little sad that we didn't get like our squad from like 13, but then like that he really doubles down on like, and then you let half the universe die like an asshole,
Yeah. Well, and none of them died, right? Like they're all fine. So
Right. Yeah.
So that's we have to go to the universe that time.
You broke Yaz
Yeah.
emotionally.
If anything,
we got Yaz. Poor Yaz.
Couldn't decide if you were gay or not.
Am I gay? Am I not gay? You're gay.
He's like, I'll decide next time.
The joke, the face that MPH makes when he's like, "Und Clara killed by a bird." Like, yeah, face the Raven was a little weird.
Yeah. If anything, I'm sad that we didn't get like a little Adric puppet drop. Just because
Like
it would have been really
little
funny to see an Adric puppet and then a spaceship puppet ramming into a bunch of dinosaur puppets.
Absolutely. I know you know this, but it was focused specifically on everything post Tenet,
right?
And
right.
I look at in your wake. Look at what you've done since, and I think that reinforced how you could look at this as a finale for New Who.
Oh yeah, totally. No, it worked 100%. I just the visual of that was just really funny to me. And we still got the Adric shout out like later. I think like minutes later, if I'm not
ridiculous.
Mistaken. Yeah.
And I do just want to, while before we leave Spooky Town, I just really want to highlight like like Cass said, the nightmarish imagery of like the guy who got turned into a puppet, and then the giant toy maker with the marionette David Tennant with his head. Like,
didn't like that.
And carrying on Wild Blue Yonder, like not like the bad quote badness of the visual effect, I think made it more nightmarish and scary.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. And because the visual effect is just the head, because the puppet is the marionette body was practical. It was they show it in that behind the scenes thing, and it was them puppeteering it.
While we're on the topic of puppets, one thing I learned from the video as well is Cass, when they hired MPH, he was like, "Oh well, I am a puppeteer. I have puppeteered in the past." So that's him really doing the puppeteering of the companions.
What the hell?
And the puppeteering crew were like, we just got to like focus on the camera and the stuff because he was doing it all himself.
That's awesome.
Oh wow.
And okay, we can save this for theory time at the end if we want to. But one notable thing that happens during this card game is the toy maker is rattling off all of his accomplishments, saying that he turned God into a jack-in-the-box, that the master now lives in his gold tooth, his freaky nightmare mouth with like 50 teeth in it for some reason.
Yeah.
And he's like, but there was one being that scared the crap out of me, the one who waits. And I took one look at that thing and I ran away. And the doctor's like, well, who's that? And the MPH is like, don't worry about it. It's not your game.
Yeah.
So building on what the Meep reference way back into the Star Beast.
Yes.
And Scott, I think you called this correctly. She was not referring to the toy maker. The Meep was referring to possibly whatever scared the toy maker, the one who waits.
I think it's the Ronnie. I don't know. That's what I think. I think it's very purposeful that the master is in the gold tooth, and he mentioned the master in the same conversation so that everyone understands this is not the master, this is someone else.
Right.
So a lot of people think that the red fingernailed painted hand that picks up the tooth is Jinx Monsoon's character.
Oh,
Jinx Monsoon.
Who we've seen her, like, she's I think a drag race alum, and she's playing a villain in the Chudigawa era, and we've gotten these amazing camp photos of her in costume, and it's like, maybe she's the one who waits. I don't know.
Interesting.
I because we've been talking about the Ronnie, and I was like, yeah, I think the Ronnie is the one who picks up.
Oh, that's also possible for sure.
Yeah.
The closest thing I have to a theory is because
the master's wife is like definitely dead, right? Like the last person who picked up his thing with the red polish.
So. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not like it's just she wasn't just randomly like on that roof again or something, right?
I got the feeling that the one who waits, the thing that the toy maker was hyping up, is, and this is kind of vague, I think that's going to be 15's The Silence.
Oh.
Like his new defining villain force thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Interesting. Yeah, I could also see it just being like the bad wolf of the next season.
That's you
know how like Russell always has like a one season kind of like ongoing thread.
Like the crack.
Right, the crack. Right. But then you had like Bad Wolf, and then you had Torchwood, and then you had Saxon, and then Rose being in screens in the fourth season.
Right.
and there's something on your back. He had a twofer in series 4.
Hated that one. Yeah, in a good way.
Yes. So yeah, I don't know. I am excited to find out more about whatever that is. For sure. I'm sure we'll get some sort of hint again in the Christmas special of all of that. But yeah, but the what I am curious about in terms of like the master in a gold tooth of it all, I'm curious because like which master, like is this something that like is this master like an incarnation, like, because it's like, you know, they're time travelers and they could be from any point in their own timeline. Like at what point is the master in his gold tooth? Is it like pre Eric Roberts, you know, or is it right? Like, because, and the reason I say that is because, like, you know, like he's like a weird, like CGI slug thing in that. So I'm like, well, you could fit that into a tooth. I don't know.
What my brain did when that reference was made was, I honestly don't remember what happened to the master at the end of Flux. So I pictured Sacha Dhawan's character being sucked inside of the tooth.
Yeah. But like, why was he fighting the celestial toy maker? Like, I want to know. I want to know.
Why was God making a bet?
Yeah.
Because he says that the master was dying, and so as like a last bid,
pleading
or
for
whatever. Yeah. So he's just like, okay, well, if I win the game, blah blah blah.
Oh, I see.
Negative.
Yeah, I think he was dying at the end of Power of the Doctor.
I think he was too.
Yeah, because he like takes her out in like spite.
Yeah, because he's a petty bitch.
Yeah, he just exactly.
From his heart I stab at thee.
Yeah,
yes.
And he's just like, you know, it's that move of like him being like, I might be dying, but you're gonna die too, you asshole.
Right.
And then Zap.
Like, I'm taking you with me.
Yeah.
So that being said, I have little to no hope. Not that I want this. That I think the next time we see the Master, it is going to be a new actor probably. I don't think it's going to be Sacha Dhawan, but
certainly
that was where my head went at the time.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I just like the idea of there being like iterations of the Master we didn't see, like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
That like,
I do think though that, it would be interesting if it's like the Master preceding Sacha Dhawan, because like he's like very specifically like mad, like crazy. So, and depending on how long he stays sealed inside this tooth, like
yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's true. That the deal of like, because like last we saw Missy, she was in that elevator dying, right?
Right.
Or no, that's John Sims about to regenerate into Missy, and then Missy was like in the forest
because Missy shot John Sim,
but he shot her or stabbed her. It was like both. It was like a twofer. They like killed each other.
Yeah, doesn't because oh my god, isn't there a scene with Missy and Capaldi like dying together?
I think you're right. So like so like maybe like he walks away and then Missy is like, I'll play a game. Toy maker,
right? Like whoever is out there, or whatever.
That would be interesting. I doubt it. It's probably Sacha Dhawan, though. That's
yeah.
It's sometimes the simplest solution.
What did you guys think of the joke of how about best of 2023?
Oh, yeah,
it was fine.
I have a soft spot for episodes that just like date themselves with reckless abandon.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah, and then they go back to 2023 and we're back at unit and they're gonna like what are they oh yeah, then we get the spice up your life thing, and then he gets shot.
Kate gets wrecked when
she does.
She does.
Tossed against that wall.
Yeah. Man.
But yeah, so he's a little Pennywise as well.
Yes, totally. Yeah, totally.
So they have an idea, they have a plan. They're going to run up to the roof and do it, and then the toy maker has killed everybody up on the roof and has a turret, and it's like, who am I going to kill? Who am I going to shoot? And then he just like shoots the doctor, and then we're in like, me standing up, jumping up and down territory where nothing was real.
Yeah. What did you guys think when the regeneration faded and nothing had happened?
Oh my god,
and
I was so confused.
And then also like that's stage 1, and then stage 2 is when he was like, pull. And I was like, what is happening right now?
Scott, the first thought I had was when he was like, something's not right. When it faded is, oh my God, Scott was right. He's going to pull off his face and Trudy was going to be underneath.
That's funny.
I am really proud of this iteration of the Doctor, because like compared to the last time we saw David Tennant regenerate, where he's like, like, I don't want to go, and then like he says it's time, and then like, so that got me really teary-eyed, and then him saying Allons-y one last time got me really teary-eyed, and then it like they like pull the rug out from under me, and I'm like, wait, no, like I'm crying, like why isn't this happening?
The line that got me is when he turns to Donna and says, like, comfortingly, reassuringly, like, it's not death. And it took me right back to that diner scene with Wilf, and how, like, going back to how he said the opposite, and just in that moment, how the journey that this singular character has been on since that episode, and where he's at, and it's like, like the magic trick is we were totally ready for it to happen.
Yeah. I think it's funny that Donna has only witnessed weird ass regenerations. Like, she's only seen 2, and in both cases they were fake outs.
It's like just part of it.
Yeah. I just think it's funny.
Cass, some fun things I saw from the behind the scenes doc is, well, you get to see David Tennant do this sick ass role,
Nice.
and he's 52.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we learned is that Chuda Gatwa was apparently really bad at catching the balls in real life. So it's him reacting, like having already caught it.
Yeah, like palming it and then like letting it drop into his hand.
That's so funny.
Yeah. I think, didn't they say that Neil Patrick Harris told them how to do it? Because he's like a magician. So he was like showing, he was like, because he was on there and he was like, yeah, so you just like, you like palm it up here and you just sort of like squeeze your palms and then you drop it in a big motion and then it looks like it appears. And yeah, he was like teaching them how to do it.
What a flex.
Because he's a magician.
He said at one point that shooting this episode was like all of the contents of his brain spilling out. Because it's like all I think about is like puppets and magic and dancing and music, and so this was just me doing all of that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
but it is kind of like, you compared it to the Christmas Invasion. Is that what it's called? When he's up on the roof, Lion King, because it's like from 15's perspective, this is him like, oh cool, I'm in a new body. Like, what's this like? How does this one move?
Yeah, he's trying it out. Can I do one-handed cartwheels? I sure as hell can.
I'm in amazing shape.
Yeah. Also so funny now to see that all of like everything that we've seen of him was like out of context, new background on a green screen thing. Just what the hell is going on here? He wasn't in an empty void of clouds. He was on this roof.
Right. People thought he had gone back to where 13 regenerated.
Yeah. Or that he was in that space that she was in the Power of the Doctor, and was like not getting to go. Like he was already there because the Celestial Toymaker like messed with the regeneration and brought 10 back.
Yeah.
Like switched them basically. And yeah, they thought, they were like, oh, he's in the place where she was. And he's like, what the hell's going on here? Because he's like, I should be out there. I'm brand new, like a baby. Like, that body's mine.
We're going to talk about this more, but, I think something all three of us really love about Doctor Who is, he's this, swashbuckling adventure hero that never uses a gun, rarely does karate, but sometimes does. And so at one point I'm like, God, like I'm watching the Doctor save the world, the universe, by playing a game of catch. Like, this is so Who.
Yeah. It's so simple and like kind of childish, but done with such abandon and so much drama that you're like, hell yeah.
Yeah, it is campy, but it like, I don't like it kind of like circles back on itself because they take it so seriously. So like I'm taking it seriously. Like this is the most dramatic game of catch I've ever seen. It's like watching like an Olympic ping pong match,
So they win, they defeat the Toymaker, he gets folded up and put in a box.
Yep.
Where hopefully we'll see him again. I'm sure Neil Patrick Harris wasn't cheap, but he could be someone else. He could be an actor. He can be another actor. And but to say all that, we get to what is now, I think, going to be with time in my like top 5 scenes of like the show ever or whatever. But we get like 15 getting to counsel 14 and be there for him, and we get like, it's beautiful. Like him holding 14 and like kissing him on the forehead is just so tender. And it was lovely. But I want to hear you guys' thoughts on it.
I think like these specials, I think, did a really good job of like setting the stage for that scene in particular, because like, in the Star Beast and in Wild Blue Yonder, like the Doctor will just say something and then be like, oh, like that's the kind of person I am now. Like that's like, I am like not as guarded. I'm like more free with like my like affection and like my emotions and stuff. And like, so like like 15 comforting him, and then like they are like reflecting on their shared like trauma, like these people that they like loved and then they like will never see again, like I think it was done really, really well. It was very affecting for me.
Yeah. It's really cool because, I think I don't even want to say typically. I want to say every single time this happens, two doctors meeting each other, they're meeting each other both at like the height of their powers and as their like particular iteration. And it's just like, there's so much arrogance happening. And they're just so like, I'm the better one. No, I'm better because I'm younger. No, I'm better because I'm older, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just like a dick measuring contest to the point where like, I mean, literally like that's what Moffat does in
Right.
the 50th with the sonic screwdriver joke. And that's all well and good. And there's a lot of comedy to mine out of that, but we've never seen two doctors be humble with each other. And that is like, yeah, it was kind of unlike any scene I've ever like that's ever been on Doctor Who, I think. Of like these two, because they're meeting each other, one at the almost end, now not the end, but almost. He thought it was. He was prepared for it to be. And somebody who's brand new. And they're, meeting each other, and they're both so humble in this moment and so happy to see each other, which is not typical with multi-doctor stories. They're usually endlessly annoyed with each other, which...
Right. There's like a lot of snarky banter, which I like.
Yeah.
But I think the closest that this scene comes is that little webisode when 10 meets 5.
But that's still one-sided, right?
Right. Yeah. And it's still like it's more like, oh my God, like that's like the guy, not like we're sharing a moment.
Right.
5
is still like, God, you're so annoying. What is this place? Why are you here?
Right.
Yeah. And 10 is just like, my hero.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the companion scene of like them at the TARDIS console where like, like I said, it's been built up so perfectly because Donna has been calling the Doctor out on this of like, you haven't stopped since we last saw each other. You've just been doing the same thing. And then the toy maker does, and to have that scene end with 15 really like from a place of mutual, like shared, like, no, I get the pain, but like, let's talk about it for a second. Let's stop. And like, you don't have to keep doing this because like, I'm here now. Yeah. It's unlike anything we've seen before in the show.
Yeah. And then he bonks the TARDIS real good and makes himself a new TARDIS.
The most like Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Like whimsical Mary Poppins of like the effect if he bangs it with the hammer and he gets you want a prize, you get an extra TARDIS, and it's like magic.
Yeah. I will say that I get it. I get it. It's expensive to build a gigantic TARDIS console room set. But I will say I find it a little lazy that it's like the same TARDIS but with like a jukebox. It's like the exact same set. I wish it was like at least lit differently or something, but I don't know.
I think it is though. Cause like I like the color of like the warm light that he settles on, and like the bit inside the console that moves is like I don't remember it being green.
Oh.
Before, so like I think that's new.
Okay.
But
do we think this is what 15's TARDIS is going to look like in Roach on Ruby Road?
I would assume so.
And like wait until like the spring to get like his TARDIS console, or
I think he's gonna go like a season and then we're gonna get a new TARDIS.
Okay. Scott, what do you think?
I just assume it's gonna be this the whole time.
Okay.
That he's in it. Because I mean, Russell didn't even change the TARDIS his entire tenure.
Oh, that's true.
Like it didn't get changed until he exploded everything. When he regenerated into Matt Smith. So
well, that's good. I mean, we only got 3 episodes with it.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, I just hope I hope he makes use of the lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not like, it's a cool look, that clean sort of like medical hospital kind of look, like 60s
Mhm.
mod thing that the 14 TARDIS has, where it's all very plain. Almost seems like it's like a return to factory settings or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like it to have just slightly more personality. The jukebox helps, but like I hope there's more. I hope he, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope he gets like a giant coin and a dinosaur, like the Batcave, like just like fill it with stuff, like put stuff in there, give it a little
Like a DJ.
something. Yeah. Yeah, like a whole DJ or like a robot DJ.
We
Or
didn't even
maybe that
talk
can be-
about the unit robot.
That can be K9's new job. Yes. Oh my God. That robot was amazing. I love that.
Is that
thing.
a robot or is it an alien?
I think it's a creature.
Because I thought it was an alien.
I think you're right.
Oh, really? I assumed it was
Yeah.
an AI like robot thing.
I don't know. I assume because like it refers to itself as the Vlinks. I don't know why it would be that if it was a robot. And then like when he does the scanning or whatever, like the brainwave thing, he asks the creature thing. It's like, oh, did you react to the weird noise?
right.
And they're like, no, just the humans. And I'm like, oh, so it's
Okay.
an alien? They just have a pet alien unit now?
But I do think he's like bio.
I mean, they had the Doctor for years, so
That's true.
But yeah, oh my God. Yeah, he's like kind of like Zordon Alpha 5, though, like,
Mhm.
yeah,
he's great. I hope we see more of him in the future.
yeah.
No idea what his name is, even though you just said it. The Sphinx?
The Vlinks.
The Flinks?
Vlinks
The
with a V.
Vlinks. Okay.
The Vlinks. Interesting.
And we talked about the ending throughout the show, but, I think the fandom, the memes and stuff, we were all kind of waking up that Saturday to be like, well, time to cry, like
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
time to watch David Tennant get dragged kicking and screaming into the void again. And to get the opposite of that, to get like the happiest of endings possible. Yeah, it felt like, it was like a celebration of the character. But yeah, do we have any additional thoughts on just all of this, on them eating and Grandpa shooting gophers?
The thing that I kept thinking about after watching this for the first time was how joyous like the last I don't know 10 15 minutes of this episode is, like, and how much I missed that, like how, like, I don't know, like I don't think anyone does joyful Doctor Who like Russell T. And like I missed that. I missed like feeling good about the hour I just spent with these characters, even though like they go through hell, and I love that they chose to have like a lot of people's like definitive like take on the character in David Tennant, literally welcoming this young Black actor like with open arms. Like that made me feel really good about like, like the special, like why are we seeing David Tennant again? Like, I don't know. It like it all worked for me, and I'm like super, super excited to see what Ncuti Gatwa brings to the role, because like he just, oh my God, like he just gets it. Like I'm in love with him. I'm like obsessed with him. I'm so excited for Christmas.
Yeah, no, that's great. I thought about that too. I was thinking that over the past 3 weeks of like, I had said that on the podcast of like, okay, but why though? Why didn't we just go straight to Ncuti Gatwa? And in addition to all the stuff that we've been talking about, the metatextual stuff and the like closing the book on an era and, getting to give certain characters happy endings, what a great runaway this was, because the whole fandom is like united and having fun and having a big celebration, and it isn't stopping. It's continuing right on into Church on Ruby Road. And we said over and over again how isolated and alone 13 felt for much of the run. And so this was just like, so like almost healing as a fan.
Yeah. No, and I I think that that's the ultimate answer as to like, oh, like, why is it David Tennant again? Is this just a cash grab or whatever? And I think it's because like, I think Russell knew in the way that I think Kevin Feige is learning that the show had gone too far and was not accessible anymore, and needed to reset the way that the 2005 was a reset. But in order to do that, he needed to wrap some stuff up. And it's not fair to do that with a new Doctor. It's like, and it's not fair. It's not fair to do that with a new Doctor that then has to leave again for the reset, you know? So it's like, well, let's just bring back an old favorite and wrap everything up in these 3 specials. And then now we have a hard reset on Christmas. And I think it's cool. Like, I just think it's a really cool way of doing this. It was a really good use of bringing David Tennant back. You know, I'm sure we'll see him again, but even if we don't, like, this is perfect, you know, like we don't need to ever see him again. Which is exactly kind of where you want to leave a character. Right. And yeah, no, I mean, I think it's, that last scene was just so good. And I hope that, what is it that everyone calls, the other David Tennant? What do they all, 10B? What do they all call him? The something Doctor?
Oh, is it 10-2?
Yeah, 10-2. What do they call, they call him the something Doctor, the meta crisis Doctor.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't understand that. I don't know why that's become the popularized term. But yeah, I hope that the meta crisis Doctor's life is just as happy as 14's seems like it's going to be.
You don't want to cut to New Earth, and he's like, "I'm going out, Rose."
No.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have a TARDIS. That's the only thing that gives
he's like
me
going
pause.
to the bar. He's like,
yeah, because 14 specifically says like, I can't not have a TARDIS. I would go insane. I would go nuts. And so like then I immediately flashed to like the Meta Crisis Doctor being like, you mean I don't have a TARDIS here? Oh no.
Isn't his deal that he's like human though? Like,
yeah.
So yeah. So I mean,
he's like all the best parts of being a human and a Time Lord.
Or did they give him like a little rock to grow a TARDIS?
I don't remember.
Crap. I don't remember.
I think they did. I think they gave him a little crystal to grow into his own TARDIS.
It's been pretty 15 years. It's got to be done by now.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that is something that happened, I think, if I remember correctly. Anyway, I hope he's happy with Rose wherever he is. And I really hope we never see them again. Just seal them away in that universe forever. I don't want to see any of that.
What's that meme where it's Brooklyn Nine-Nine, New Girl, where it's like Andy Samberg being like, "Who's your favorite Doctor?" Or you like Doctor Who? Name 5 doctors. And so he did. And I was like, David Tennant. And like, oh, my bad.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no, I loved that last scene. I love that he's taking Rose on trips in the TARDIS, but they're not going to adventures. They're just sightseeing. Like,
yeah,
because that TARDIS, I think, knows that he's retired and isn't going to take him to like bad stuff because they have the other Doctor to do that, to like take care of, solve problems. Yeah. So this TARDIS is like also retired in a way where like this TARDIS is like, yeah, cool. Let's just go like see the universe, whatever. We don't need to solve any problems.
He refers to Rose as his niece.
Yeah. Because Donna's his sister.
Uncle Doctor,
which I love.
That's what his name will be.
What, the Donna brother?
No, Uncle Doctor. I'm gonna call him Uncle.
Oh, Uncle Doctor. Yeah. 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 No, it was. I just think it's a great ending for that Doctor, and whatever happens next is a bonus. But I love how close everything sort of tied together, especially with like the one adventure that you've never been on or whatever, just a regular life. And the way that ties back to Journey's End. I just love that. That was so good. So, yeah.
Although
big ups.
He did live a normal life for a few days when he lived with Craig.
Oh, right. That's
in the
true.
lodger.
That was far from normal. Anyway, he
Any,
had to bonk him on the head. Remember? That's not normal.
That's right. Yeah.
That's not how normal people live. Bonking people on the head.
Imagine it.
And
Cass,
then
any closing? Oh, sorry.
yeah,
What were you saying?
I was going to say, then we should talk about like 15, right? And
Yeah.
everything with that. I think that the fact that they split their outfit the way that they do, that makes me think that he has no regeneration. That ability went to Shurigawa, and he was left without that ability.
Oh.
That was what my thought process was.
See, I don't even see him aging into. Yeah, I think this dude is just going to age as a David Tennant would age, and then just like die a human death.
Yes.
Eventually.
Yes.
That's what I'm picturing.
Just pass away.
Leave a stupid
surrounded by
body.
loved ones.
Yep.
Expire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listening to fucking...
Do you, here's my question. Is Uncle Doctor, is he just like is he just like a kooky like single uncle like or is he ever gonna like
me? Yeah.
Like is he gonna date somebody? Is he gonna start like dating or I don't know. I'm just curious about that part of things.
He's
That's so funny.
Yeah. He's expressed attraction to other people, which is kind of more than you get from like 11 or 12, you know?
Right. Yeah. Very true. Yeah, so 15 our most swashbuckling Doctor since 3.
Ooh.
Like he's like a big like swashbuckling like romantic hero.
Yeah.
You know, those
not
vibes.
a nerd.
Yeah, no. Not at all. He's very earnest, but he's not nerd. He's not a nerd.
He's not socially awkward.
Right. Yeah, he seems very charismatic. Yeah. He doesn't I don't think he'll have that like that grumpy streak that 3 has. That was reserved for Capaldi, but in terms of like swashbuckling adventurer, like I can't think of another Doctor that even comes close to that energy other than 3.
I think because like 10's opening story, he literally has a sword fight.
Yeah.
So like,
well, I feel like he evolved out of that though. Like once they figured him out,
he became more like like brainy specs.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna use my the books and whatever.
Yeah.
I think 11 has moments of that too, but his is more like my arms are too long for my body, kind of like slapsticky.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He has
Right.
theater kid energy to me.
Yeah.
Like he also
does.
he has like the single most like baller. He has the Pandorica speech. And
Yes.
Yeah.
so you remember him being a badass. But yeah, like I picture 11 going to the club and it's like a very different than like 15 just looks like he belongs there. Like he's right at home.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, he's like a free spirit, which is that there you go. That's the thing. He's a free spirit, which is something no other Doctor has ever had. Because all of the Doctors before this have had baggage. They've never been able, because that's the thing. I think that 15 took the regenerations, and 14 took all of the baggage, all of that emotional baggage with
Oh,
it.
wait, you know what? I think I have to correct myself. I now think, at least at first, I thought, 14 is going to die, but when he does die, he'll regenerate into 15, and all the work and peace that 14 is about to do, relaxing and just living a peaceful life, is why 15 is the way that he is, and able to kind of like start fresh and be a new man, a new being. But
yeah.
I don't know. Does that ring true to you guys?
I think there's like some level of like credence to that, because there's that line he says where he's like, like we're Time Lords, we're doing rehab out of order, like there's like a reason he has his shit together, and it's because like 14 heals for a while.
So like someday he's going to like be surrounded by his by the nobles and being like, I've led a good old life, my head. And then, whoomp, Shurigawa. Is he going to be in the bed?
No, I don't know. I feel like you guys. I feel like you guys are overthinking this. I really think.
Yeah.
I literally think when he bifurcated from 14, I feel like 14 kept all of that emotional baggage. 15 has none of it, and is a total free spirit. Totally has his head together.
Okay.
He has. It's like he's been to therapy for like 20 years. And that
I wish it was that easy. My God.
I know, right? But I think that's why he was able to be like, hey, you can like chill and take time to heal now. Like all of that stuff, I don't have any of that. I can go off and I can adventure, and none of that stuff is going to weigh on me. I'm free. I'm a free man. But you have shit that you need to come to terms with. Everything that we've been through, you need to deal with that, and you need to slow down and chill and just like figure your shit out, mate.
I've got the universe covered.
Yes,
you don't have to worry about that.
Right. You can take care of you, which is the first time we've ever been able to do that. I think that's what it is. I think.
Okay.
That's how I interpreted it anyway.
Sure.
Obviously it's something that's never happened before, and it's all up for interpretation, but
I also haven't really been super, I haven't been reading a lot of takes or tweets or whatever, but is this where the mixed part that you were talking about, Scott, is coming from? Are people freaking out over the nerdy logic of just the regeneration, or is
it's mostly that people like everybody seems to like the episode just fine. It's just that like some people don't like new stuff, and it makes them uncomfy, and they don't know what to do with those feelings, and I think that the regeneration is hitting those people particularly hard. So
I think that because like Russell T went out of his way to be like, hey, remember the timeless child thing? Like, we don't know what the Doctor is. And like, so he's able to like introduce this new concept and be like, sure, it just happens. We don't know why. And I'm like, okay, I vibe with that because it happened before. So it makes sense that it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
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 And I like the doubling down in case you weren't cleared last week. Yeah. The flux really did happen. And all of that.
Yes.
Keep that in mind going forward.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, super...
I just love 15. He's great so far.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm big fan.
Yeah. It's so what we have 2 weeks until Christmas.
Ish, less than that, I think.
14 or 15 sleeps until Christmas.
Yeah, no, you're right. Almost exactly 2 weeks till Christmas.
Nice.
Very much looking forward to that. And it looks like a fun episode. I watched the trailer for it, and I was just like, oh yeah, this is like typical Russell T Davies Christmas bullshit. Like I can't wait. Have you seen the trailer? Cass?
No.
Oh, you didn't watch
I
it?
haven't.
Okay, yeah. It's only they only put the trailers on YouTube now. I wish it was still after the episode.
I know,
but
attach it to the freaking episode.
I don't think Disney Plus wants that. I don't know why. I don't know why they wouldn't want to advertise what the next episode is. That seems to make sense if it's coming out on a weekly schedule, but whatever.
Right.
I don't know why those freaks do what they do.
It's true. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. I will say I hope that in typical Russell T Davies fashion, that episode ends with the announcement of what the first episode of the next season is, and then the trailer drops for the next season, and we know when it airs.
Get a date.
Like I hope that they don't keep it a secret anymore. Like I don't like the sneak attack Doctor Who drops. Like just tell us when you're planning on dropping it. I don't know.
You want like incoming, March 23rd, 2024.
Right. Totally.
Dan's Revenge.
Yeah. Right. Dan's Revenge. Yes.
I was mad the whole time. So angry.
Yeah. Well, cool. Really great episode. Very extremely satisfying in the same way that Journey's End felt really satisfying. it was like he also did the specials better this time, you know?
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, yeah, no, it's all connected and it all feels like satisfying and good. And, you know, because as good as the last like 20 minutes of End of Time is, the rest of it is like a lot.
Very sus.
Yeah, very sus. Yes. But yeah, it reminded me of how satisfying Stolen Earth and Journey's End is, though. It's real good, real good. So anyway, we'll be back
3 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll be back in sometime shortly after Christmas to talk about the church on Ruby Road. And then hopefully be able to know when we're coming back with some new episodes then, but then also we'll talk about what the plan is for Long Way Around and all of that stuff. So look forward to all of that shortly after Christmas when that episode comes out. All right. Anything else? Join the Discord if you're not on it yet. Like the Doctor's Companion channel is hopping.
Yeah.
It's so fun. I love seeing all of that. It's been really, really great having everyone talking about our dumb show again. It's the best. So
I feel like we don't really hear from the Doctor's Companion listeners all that often. So I really like hearing from
we
you
don't
all.
do the show that often. So
well, no, you know, even when we were doing the show,
that's true.
You know,
that's
like
true.
we didn't have the Discord, but
yeah, that's true. But I'm excited to like bring the show roaring back to life now. I also think like, I don't know, I think we all just sort of like generally, despite like our, you know, we all have like different sort of opinions and vibes on the Jodie Whittaker stuff. We all like different stuff that other people don't like, and you know, it's a very mixed bag across all three of us. But I think that it feels really good and really powerful and really energetic that we're all like, we all feel aligned again, you know? Which is just like, it just feels really nice. It's I'm so happy that the show is doing what it's doing right now.
Absolutely. The best is yet to come.
Yes. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody, and we will see you shortly after Christmas. Bye.